A great voice of our sport, the Joe Brown handicap. Joe Brown calling 33 consecutive Melbourne Cups in his time as a broadcaster, of course. He was an iconic race broadcaster for the ABC during his career. This is a benchmark 70 over 1,800 metres as per the previous race, this time for the 3-year-olds and up. Horse one is Tara Mansour, who kicks off his preparation, you'd imagine, looking for something with a 2 in front of it, Hutch.
Exactly, yeah. He kicked off last preparation over 2,000. Not that much further, but he ran well, beaten a couple of lengths, but he definitely got better, I think, into the prep. Hasn't won in a little while, but I'm thinking fresh up, he'll probably need this, and he's better followed, like you said, over a little bit further and a little bit later.
Nice and healthy and bright, Hutch, but his coat's still got a bit of improvement to come, and he is carrying a little bit of condition, so I would think this run would help bring him on.
Notification of gelding 2 for horse 1 in Tara Mansour. 2 is confrontational. He broke through on a firm 2 at the Valley.
That he did. It was a good performance too, I thought, from him. And the 1,800 won't be any sort of issue either, I wouldn't have thought. So, look, a horse that's in good form. He needed that win following a string of decent performances, and this is probably a little harder.
He looks nice and fit, though. He's, again, probably some minor improvement to come from his coat, but he's relaxed, which is quite normal for him, stepping out nicely, parading well. So he's in for a good prep. He's progressing well, and he hasn't gone backwards since that last start win.
3 St Lawrence is our race favourite. Made it at Hastings in New Zealand on debut in April this year. Was bought by the Aussie kid John O'Neill team, transferred to Kieran Murray and Dave Eustace. Debuted at Geelong in mid-September, defeated We Go Bam by a length. That was on a heavy 8, then had a 2.5, nearly 3-month break, Hutch, before winning here 19 days ago over 1,500 metres.
And he was super impressive there, wasn't he? Put a margin on him. Didn't go all that quick in the race, but he extended away and did what the market thought he would, and he's even shorter today. He looks a very nice prospect, and obviously I think he'll be extremely hard to beat.
As the market suggests, he looks outstanding. He's stepping out well. He's race fit. He's got a lovely shine to his coat. He's got a great demeanour in the yard. He's bright and alert without wasting any energy, and after looking at him in the pre-parade area, he hasn't warmed up at all since he's got out from his shade and headed down here. He looks fantastic.
Before we take Manhattan's had a bit of a freshen since running at Terang in early November.
$31 with the VOP, and I haven't seen too many excuses, Nigel, but coming back from that run at Terang behind Holster, which not a bad race, I think, for coming back in this class, but I just needed to see a little bit more of this preparation.
On the fresh side, and looks from a condition point of view that the run may help bring him on a little bit. He was on the toe when he first came into the yard, but has calmed down a bit with a couple of laps under the belt, so not as fresh and not as on the toe as he was when he first walked in, but he does look like this race would perhaps take the edge off.
Up in weight, down in class for the 5, Princess Rani's, who was third, beaten 4.5 lengths behind Raichuar this track and trip 16 days ago. Hutch, Raichuar, of course, coming out and winning impressively on the Valley card on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, it was the highest rating race of any entrant in this event, but, they were rolling along a little bit, and she was very good, so can certainly make a case from her. If you do, she's around that $6 mark. She's hit high as $6.50, but she's right in the game.
She's very fit. There's not a lot of improvement left, I don't think. She comes to hand quickly enough, and at this stage, I'd say the team have got her race fit, her coat's good, she's stepping out well, bright and alert. I think if there's a horse from the mounting yard that's going to challenge St Lawrence, it would be Princess Rani's.
6 Beretta raced on the same day as Princess Rani's, but was in the benchmark 70 1,600 metre race, won by Tasman Park. Beretta was within 2 lengths.
I like that performance. I like the final 100 in particular from Beretta. I thought that this step up and trip may well suit. I know it's a little bit of an unknown territory, but that said, I don't think necessarily Beretta will be that far off them, and encouraged by that last performance, and I think there's more to offer.
He's nice and fit now too, and bright and alert, and he's a little bit forward and on the bridle in the parade ring, but he's fit, he's stepping out well, and he's only getting a touch warm, and that's probably understandable the way the day's warming up.
7 is scratching to the 8, Ostrada. Jamie Carr goes back aboard, and this horse has a great affinity with this hillside 1,800 metre course, including his last victory here in March. That was in a benchmark 78.
Yeah, 3 starts, 2 wins in a second, and this is probably what you need at this stage of the preparation as well. I think it was 4th run last prep. Did finish runner-up prior to that. So 3rd up here, all heads towards Ostrada going pretty close. Each way chance. I think he's well enough exposed, but if the more favoured runners don't turn up in the sort of form that we're expecting, Estrada might be able to capitalise.
He's got a great attitude, and he's getting a fraction warm, but he's got a lovely walk on him. He's got a great attitude. There was just a halt to proceedings in the mounting yard where he had to stop, and he just took that cue from Jamie Carr, and he stood there. I think he had a little bit of look at the big screen and can see himself up there. I don't know if horses are that intelligent, but that looked like what he was doing. He's got a great attitude. He's moving well, and he's nice and fit.
9, Bullarook Boy is second up here, resumed on Werribee Cup Day in a restricted 64 over the mile.
A lot easier race and well beaten there, so understand why it's 100 to 1 9. Looks hard to have.
It looks like he's progressing well from a fitness point of view. He's getting a touch warm, but he looks healthy and he's stepping out okay.
The 10 Hostile Takeover, got to be the most lightly raced 9-year-old getting around. Just its 13th career start, the most recent, 10 days ago, a placing at Geelong.
Yeah, he's only won 1 from 12. He's sparingly raced, like you said. There's obviously been some issues, and I thought his form leading in, while he's had a few runs this prep, I think he'll find something easier than what he's striking today.
He's a robust style of horse, and he looks fit and healthy, so no knock from the yard.
St Lawrence, a red-hot favourite, as Dunkeld was in the previous hutch.
Yes, and I think each one of them will be the legs of many multis, but he's a very nice style of horse, St Lawrence, and I think if he turns up in the sort of form that we saw him last start, he'll justify the quote. Look, there might be a little bit of value maybe in the Cornella, maybe with Beretta and Estrada. I think Princess Rainey's is getting out, but I thought the favourite would be very hard to beat.
And you couldn't tip against him from the yard. He's coping with the conditions. He's just a standout in the yard. Number 3, St Lawrence. Around him, I thought the Princess Rainey's looked very fit. She was parading extremely well, as was Estrada, who I think's probably close to peak fitness now. So outside of the short price favourite St Lawrence, number 5 Princess Rani's and number 8 Estrada were doing everything right from a parade point of view. The pick of them though, and a standout, number 3 St Lawrence.
And the favourite St Lawrence is firmed again late, $1.65 into $1.60, as we've mentioned throughout the course of the day, well anchored through the multi-bets, and punters anticipate will get the job done once again today. Outside the favourite, the next couple in the market have been relatively solid. There hasn't been sustained support for any of the other gallopers. Princess Rani's now a $6.50 chance. Estrada 7, double figures or better, the rest headed by Beretta, but St Lawrence clearly the best backed in race 3.
Joined by Ben Hayes. Lindsay Park team have got Beretta engaged here and chasing a victory. First of all points of the compass for the Hayes family on Christmas Day. Was there a Zoom to try and hook everyone together?
Well, no. It was actually first Hayes Christmas where we all were with our partners' families. So it was different, but enjoyed it. It was great fun.
Sign of the times and a growing brood. Logical step up for this horse to head to the 1,800 metres after finishing off well against Tasman Park here recently?
Yeah, we've drawn wider last couple of starts and had to get really far back. So today, with Laura back on taking the claim, inside draw, stepping up in trip, I'm hoping we can settle that little bit closer in running. And if he gets a nice run in transit, he's looking like he's looking for 1,800 and should be finishing off strong. Happy with him.
5th run of the preparation sees him hit peak spot on fitness?
I think so. There'll be no excuses on the fitness side of things. He's a horse that took a while to adapt to Australia. His first prep, after his first run, he really didn't cope. We probably went one run too many with him. This preparation, totally different horse. Looks fantastic and he's really holding his condition. So he's adapted to Australia and hopefully he can get his nose in front again.
Speaking of getting your nose in front, this day 4 years ago was a drought breaker of sorts for Sosi Bon, who I think for a lot of people had been labelled a little bit of a non-winner. He took out the Lord Stakes of 2018. Can he add his name to the honour roll for a second time?
I really hope so. He seems in really good order. All his work at home's been good. He's very fit. It's a very small field of 5, so what happens in that race, I'm not sure. And look, he'll run well. I can't see him running a bad race.
As he always does. Ben, good luck with Beretta here.
Thank you.
It looks a nice prospect, that's for sure. And boys are doing a good job at Lindsay Park. And they'll be pretty happy with Dad's effort the other day as well. Warren, we had a former South Australian horse win in Hong Kong. Harley Movin was a big win first up for David. He'll be aiming towards the Hong Kong Derby this year, along with Bonza Perla, a filly. So he's got a couple over there, David, that he's brought up from Victoria and South Australia that are flying the flag.
Yeah, well, team here in Australia, the Lindsay Park team, they have to hide their horses to a certain extent, don't they? And not
yes.
expose them too much to the claws of David. Some news coming through from the previous race, and worth noting, one of the Patrick Payne trained runners in Hard to Cross has been identified as being lame in the near foreleg. So still run a place behind the impressive stablemate Nigel, but news coming through from the stewards, Hard to Cross lame near foreleg.
Certainly perhaps adds a little bit of merit to the third performance there behind Barefoot Tora, the maiden filly, and of course the impressive winner Dunkell, who will have bigger targets in mind. Second impressive victory in his 3 career starts so far for Patrick Payne. So runners behind the gates here for the Joe Brown handicap. Tail of the tape in terms of EOP wise. St Lawrence went up $1.65. Touched $1.55. Slight little turnout late, but going to jump favourite at about $1.60. To Matt Hill for his call, the third on Boxing Day from Sandown.
Department Hard to Cross lame in the previous. Hostile Takeover about to join them. We Take Manhattan gets a last-minute towel down, and they're just about ready to go. On Paramutual, St Lawrence $1.60 ahead of 6.30 Ostrata, and Princess Raoni's at $6.60. Hostile Takeover goes up, completes the line. They are ready. The Joe Brown handicap. And away they go. Beautiful line too. Princess Raoni's one of the best to begin with. We Take Manhattan, and also the favourite St Lawrence. Tara Mansour Ostrada out deeper on the track, finding positions and punching up on the fences. Beretta looking for the box seat. Onto the course proper. We Take Manhattan in front of St Lawrence. They're not going that hard at the moment. Beretta third. Princess Raoni's improved to fourth. A length and a half Confrontational, who's up on the steel outside of Bullarook Boy, and then Tara Mansour, Hostile Takeover, and Ostrada is at the end of the field. Halfway down the back section, 12.50 out, and We Take Manhattan led by 3/4 of a length with no pressure from the favourite St Lawrence. A length and a quarter, Beretta third, and then came Princess Raoni's as they continue their journey towards the top of the course. Bullarook Boy is fifth offence, and then Confrontational. Tara Mansour on the outside. Then came Hostile Takeover, and Ostrada is at the back of the field. So the leader, We Take Manhattan, with 900 metres to run by a length to St Lawrence. A length and a quarter, Beretta, Princess Raoni's. Then came Confrontational, who just inches a little bit closer outside of Bullarook Boy. Then Tara Mansour, Hostile Takeover, and Ostrada with a bit to do. It'd be spotting the lead and almost the favourite, about 8 lengths as they come around the corner. 600 metres to go. We Take Manhattan with St Lawrence, who eyeballs the leader now. Then came Beretta, Princess Raoni's, as they're about to hurtle down the dip. Confrontational to the outside, and then came Ostrada. It's going to be a dash to the post, 400 to go, and it's We Take Manhattan with St Lawrence yet to be called upon. Further back, Beretta extricating off their back from Princess Raoni's. A long way back, Ostrada. St Lawrence at the 200 metres takes We Take Manhattan, and then a gap, Beretta. St Lawrence hands and heels, a neck in front. Now Allen goes for the whip from We Take Manhattan, Beretta. St Lawrence just in front and will get in. St Lawrence has won it by about a long neck. We Take Manhattan and Beretta, and then came Confrontational. Next, Princess Raoni's, Tara Mansour, Ostrada. A gap to Hostile Takeover, and a long last Bullarook Boy.
So job done, St Lawrence, 4 from 4. Certainly not the blow you away impressive victory of a horse that you think's going to shoot from a rating of 72 pre-race to then bigger targets quickly. I suppose the gloss in some respects, not to talk it down too much, is he's only just staved off We Take Manhattan, who's got an 1,163-day drought sitting to his name since winning a Horsham Cup in October of 2019. We'll get more of a debrief from the Mar Eustace team and John Allen as well. A successful start to their day. Of course, they've got Nugget to come in the next Lord Stakes, and he'll go up a similar quote, you'd imagine, to our winner here. 3, 4, 6 and 2, Beretta found a little bit of trouble, got off the back of heels of the 2 leaders and the Quinella horses in the end, and was able to close the margin. But St Lawrence, as expected, is undefeated.
Tend to agree, Nigel. Yeah, a little underwhelmed after that workman-like performance from St Lawrence. He was $1.50 in the end, and in fairness, Warren, there were really no worrying moments. It was more just that you expected him to explode, I suppose, and draw away from We Take Manhattan in the final 200 metres, which actually had a bit of trouble, shaking him off, and in fact he didn't. The margin was a long neck on the line.
I think the way the sectionals were coming up through the race, they were going very modestly. So I think both riders on first and second horses controlling the race were almost able to wait until they straightened and almost made it a real dash home. So he might be better in a race of more pressure and even when he's back a pair or so. But he's got the job done as a short price favourite. I suppose that's what punters want to see. But you're right, he wasn't able to explode away and put a margin on them. Beretta was sitting in behind them, was able to hold third. He got a bit keen at times after being pushed into that spot behind the speed. I suppose the way the race shaped up, the closing effort of Confrontational from back in the field was a positive.
Yeah, it was a good run from Confrontational, and I'm interested with the feedback with Johnny Allen about this horse over the 1800 as well. It was a very easily run 1800, like you said, and appreciate they haven't gone that quick and sprinted home, which probably always makes it hard to put a margin on them in some respects. But, well, we'll hear from the master himself, Kieran Maher. Maybe he can give us his thoughts.
Kieran Maher joins us after St Lawrence has made it 4 from 4 in the career so far. Kieran, it's an easy one in terms of his tick the box of the victory. In terms of the eye test, how did it go?
Well, he looked to be very dominant last start, and it was a little bit workmanlike today. He doesn't carry a lot of condition, so we'll just keep an eye on him. But he is ticking up through the grades. Be interesting to see what Johnny said, but no, I think it was pretty soft in the end.
He was a couple of weeks between runs here today. The great performance you referenced at the start prior, he was the best part of 2.5, 3 months between runs. Is he the sort of horse maybe he's going to have his runs a little bit more spaced in that complexion, given what we saw between starts 2 and 3?
Yeah, like he had a couple of niggles that made that gap between races that long, but this was just the right race today. And like you said, he's come here, ticked the box. And yeah, we'll probably space him just by he doesn't carry a lot, but fantastic. Will Bourne's here. He struck up the deal between Jerry Harvey, Luke McDonald, and Aussie Kerr and John, and no, fantastic ownership group, and he looks like he's going to be a stayer for the future.
Kieran, congrats.
Cheers.
Yeah, nice performance, and interesting comments there from Kieran. Just say perhaps they'll give him a little bit more time between runs, and looking forward to the feedback from John Allen. Always had him in a great spot. There wasn't a lot of pressure in the race. Horse had his ears pricked and was travelling beautifully throughout. It was more so just I think the resilience thrown from We Take Manhattan. Let's hear from Johnny.
Johnny Allen joins us after St Lawrence makes it 4 from 4. The view from afar was perhaps it was workmanlike. Johnny, what was it like from the pilot's seat?
Yeah, look, definitely a little bit more workmanlike than he was the last day, but you can only keep winning, and look, he seems getting that together. So look, there's still plenty there to work with. He's a nice horse pushing forward, and yeah, look, good to, I suppose, keep his winning sequence going.
Was there anything different about the performance or the way the race was run that meant it looked and felt that way?
Yeah, maybe. Look, probably the stronger temper the last day we were able to take a sit. He was really explosive, whereas today we didn't go that quick and turned into maybe a little bit of a sprint up the home straight. And look, he was always doing enough to hold him and always felt I was going to win. So even though not as impressive looking as the last day, as I said, he got the job done.
Well done.
Thank you.
We've only got a field of 4 here.